Beautiful Kingdom woman. I'm genuinely glad to have you here with me today. So you can go ahead and drop your name and where you're joining from in the chat. I love seeing who's in the room and seeing, who God has gathered for tonight or for today. And if you're watching the replay later, just type the hashtag replay so that I can come back and say hi to you because you're absolutely part of this conversation too. So, all right, let's just take a breath for a moment. I just want to see if I can see and hear us on Facebook Live and if the sound is all right. You just see. Fabulous. Okay, I can hear and see us. All right. Today we're talking about something that has stirred a lot of curiosity and for some women, a lot of tension. Okay, and I'm checking on the comments. So if you are here, if you're listening, let me know in the comments. Ask any questions, leave your replies. Let's talk about this. All right. So, some women have a lot of tension around this, and the title of today's live is How Can I Integrate AI Without Losing Authenticity or My Spiritual Integrity? So, if you've been curious about AI, but you're also cautious, if you've wondered, is this wisdom or is this compromise? If you felt a check in your spirit, but you don't know quite how to name it, that doesn't mean you're behind. It just means you're discerning. So many faith-driven women are standing in this in-between place. They're intrigued by the possibilities of AI, but they are unwilling to sacrifice their voice, their values, or their spiritual authority just to keep up with a trend. And I want you to know that that tension is valid. So tonight is not about pushing you towards technology, but it is helping you to understand how to hold it in the right place, under authority, under discernment, and obviously in alignment with your faith. So if you want clarity without the compromise, if you want to learn how to use tools without losing yourself, if you want peace and confidence about this conversation, then I want you to drop the word integrity in the chat so that I know that I'm talking to the right woman today. All right. So while we're settling in, I want to take a moment to properly introduce myself, especially if this is your first time in my space. My name is Jana Du Toit, and at the heart of everything I do, I design faith-aligned leadership systems for a rapidly changing AI-driven world. So I work with faith-based female founders online with brand strategy, go-to-market strategy, systems, and AI so that they can build influence and legacy for Kingdom Impact. I'm also a best-selling author, an AI workforce specialist, and the founder of janadetoit.com and esthermandate.com. I've had the privilege of walking alongside hundreds of women as they navigate growth, leadership, systems, and now this emerging conversation around AI. But what really qualifies me to lead the conversation tonight isn't the titles. It is the discernment journey, because I didn't rush into AI and I didn't reject it either. I did sit in the tension. And I asked the same questions many of you are asking right now. Is this wise? Is this aligned? Could this pull me away from my voice or even from God? And I want you to hear this clearly if you're listening in today. Those are the right questions. What I've learned through prayer and through practice and through careful integration is this, that tools are not the threat. Authority is the issue. When people lose authenticity with AI, it is not because they used technology or tools. It is because they surrendered their authorship or they bypassed their discernment or they let speed replace alignment. So on the other side, when people fear AI completely, often it's because they've been taught that faith and support can't coexist. But that's not biblical, because if we look at the Bible, God has always used tools. He's used staffs, boats, systems, scrolls, and the power was never in the tool. It was always in who held it and under what authority it was held. So everything I teach about AI comes from this place. Faith before efficiency, and discernment before delegation, and stewardship before speed. This is not about keeping up with trends. It is about learning how to integrate technology without losing ourselves. And I just want to tag everyone. Let me see. Uh, Followers or highlights. Let me just tag everyone. See if I can do that. Okay. All right. So if your heart cares deeply about integrity, if you want to stay aligned, and you don't want to outsource what was meant to stay sacred, you are exactly where you're meant to be today. This is what we're going to talk about. So let's talk about what's really happening in the market right now, because I want to lift a weight off your shoulders right from the beginning. The conversation around AI has become very loud and very polarized. On the one side, we have people saying, if you don't use AI, you'll get left behind. You need to automate everything. Just let the tools do it for you. And on the other side, you have faith-driven women quietly thinking, this feels off. I don't want to sound too generic. I don't want to outsource discernment. And I don't want to compromise my integrity. And so many women are stuck in the middle. They are curious, but they are cautious. They are interested, but they're very uneasy. And here's what I want you to hear first and very clearly. That tension doesn't mean that you're resistant. It means that you're discerning. And the problem isn't AI. The problem is not our faith. The problem is that the market has lost order. Because when tools are elevated above authority, things get distorted. When speed replaces our discernment, our integrity feels threatened. When efficiency becomes the goal instead of stewardship, people either overuse the tools or they reject them completely. And neither extreme is healthy. So let's look at the two extremes. On one extreme, you see people outsourcing everything, their thinking, their messages, their messaging, their voice, their decisions. And then they're wondering why their content feels really hollow. It is not AI's fault, but it is an authorship problem. So on the other side, we see women avoiding AI entirely, not because they don't want support, but because they don't want to compromise what is sacred. And I honor that. But avoidance isn't the goal either. Wisdom is. So, no one taught us how to use AI, but under authority. No one showed us how to integrate technology without surrendering our discernment. So, women were left with two options: use it recklessly or avoid it completely. But there is a third way. And this way is rooted in stewardship. I want to offer you a reframe that changes the entire conversation. AI does not threaten spiritual integrity. Loss of authorship does. AI doesn't steal your voice. But if you give up responsibility, that's what does. The moment that AI starts deciding what to say, what you believe, what direction you take, that's when your integrity feels compromised. But when AI supports how you express what God has already placed inside of you, it becomes a servant, not a substitute. So let me ask you this honestly. Have you ever read AI generated content and thought by yourself, this feels empty? Or you felt uneasy about using AI because you couldn't explain why it felt off? If so, type the word seen in the chat. I want you to leave this section knowing something important. You don't have to choose between faith and innovation, integrity and efficiency, wisdom and tools. That is a false choice. What God is inviting us into is into order. And when order is restored, our fear leaves. So now that we've named the gap and we've removed this shame and we brought clarity to this tension, we can talk about how to do this well. How do we integrate AI in a way that, number one, protects our voice, it honors our values, it keeps discernment where it belongs, and it actually increases our peace instead of our anxiety? And that's what I want to walk you through next. Okay. So I've got a framework for us, and if you've got a pen and paper, I would encourage you to use a pen and paper. Otherwise, it's in with the in ear, one ear out, but on the other ear. Okay. So the Spirit-led AI integration framework. Spirit-led AI integration framework. So the goal is to restore order, to establish boundaries, and replace fear with clarity. Okay. So now that we've named the tension and we clear the fog, I want to give you something solid to stand on, because clarity brings peace. So I want to walk you through what I call the Spirit-led AI integration framework. And this framework exists for one reason only. It is to help you use AI without losing your voice, your values, or your spiritual authority. This isn't about becoming more tech savvy. It is about becoming more grounded. Right. So we have a few pillars that we want to walk through, 5 pillars. Pillar number 1, authorship comes first. This pillar alone resolves about 80% of the fear around AI. AI should never decide what to say. You do. Your convictions, your discernment, your revelation, those come before any tool is opened. So the order matters. So even if you have to grab a journal and journal it out, or write it on your Word documents, or on your Google Doc before you even open ChatGPT. Okay. So the order is revelation, discernment, expression, let's say in your diary or online on your Word tools, and then opening up ChatGPT or Grok or whatever tool you use, whatever LLM you use. When people feel disconnected from their content after using AI, it is because the order got reversed. They opened the tool before they anchored the message. So if AI disappeared tomorrow and you wouldn't know what to say, that is not a technology issue. That is an authorship issue. So if this is clicking for you, type the word authorship. All right. Pillar number 2, discernment is never delegated. This one is non-negotiable. Okay, AI can generate options, but it does not get a vote. You still pray about it, sense what's going on, you evaluate it through your own common sense, and you make the decision. The discernment always stays with you. And here's something important that I want you to hear. Speed is not always wisdom. So if AI output feels slightly off, feels rushed, or it feels misaligned, that is not something to push through. That is something that we need to pause with, so that our efficiency, how fast we're putting things out, never outranks obedience to what God is calling us to do. All right. Pillar number 3, AI is a servant, not a substitute. So we've got pillar number 1, authorship comes first. Number 2, discernment is never delegated. And then number 3, AI is a servant, not a substitute. And I want to normalize something. Using AI does not mean you're replacing yourself. It means you're removing friction. AI is excellent for organizing our thoughts, for structuring content, for drafting, for summarizing, for simplifying. But AI is not meant for defining our beliefs, number 1, determining our calling, that's between you and God, and setting spiritual direction. When AI is replacing formation, that's where integrity starts to feel thin. But when AI supports expression, peace increases. So let's talk about pillar number 4. Integrity is about alignment and not effort. This is where many women get stuck. Integrity is about alignment, not effort. They think that authenticity means doing everything manually. But authenticity is not about the effort. Authenticity is about alignment. When your message, your values, and your actions line up, integrity is intact. AI doesn't dilute your alignment, but misuse does. So the question isn't, did I use AI? The question is, does this still sound like me? Does this still honor my values? Do I feel peace and at peace releasing this? And believe it or not, peace is a compass. Pillar number 5, multiplication follows stewardship. So we've got pillar number 1, authorship comes first. Pillar number 2, discernment is never delegated. Pillar number 3 is AI is a servant, not a substitute. Pillar number 4, integrity is about alignment, not effort. And then lastly, pillar number 5, multiplication follows stewardship. So this is the final shift that I want to leave with you in this framework. When God increases our capacity, it is not compromise. It is a preparation. So throughout Scripture, multiplication followed stewardship. And AI, when it's held correctly, will simply increase your capacity after your integrity is anchored. But multiplication comes after order, not before it. When our stewardship leads, the tools can multiply without distortion. So this framework, authorship, discernment, the boundaries, alignment is exactly how we approach AI in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe mentorship membership site. So it is not rushing, it is not outsourcing, but it is stewarding wisely. So I want you to hear this clearly. You don't lose spiritual authority by using the tools, but you lose it when you surrender your authorship. And when your authorship is restored, fear has no place to stay. All right. I want us to slow down here for a moment because everything that we've talked about so far is true. But the part where it needs to feel livable. It shouldn't feel theoretical or intimidating, not like one more thing that you need to figure out. So I remember a woman saying to me, Jana, I'm scared of using AI. I won't recognize my voice anymore. And honestly, that fear made sense. So she spent years refining her message. She was praying through her words. She was learning to trust her discernment. And we didn't rush her. We didn't give her too many prompts or tools, but we did start with one question, and I did ask her, what do you already know to be true? And that's what she ended up writing first. And then and only then, we used the AI to help her to organize and clarify that. And a few weeks later, she said something that stayed with me. She said, I didn't lose my voice. I found it faster. And that's what happens when our authorship stays intact. So can I ask you something honestly? Have you ever hesitated to use AI because you were afraid? You were afraid you might dilute what God gave you. If that's you, just type the word honest in the chat. And thank you for your honesty, because that tells me that you care deeply about integrity. Another woman avoided AI completely. She didn't want anything to do with AI. She almost didn't even enroll in my course, not because she didn't want the support, but because she didn't want to cross a line she couldn't name. And when she finally used AI with a clear boundary, she said, I didn't realize how much mental pressure I was carrying until I didn't have to carry it all alone. She wasn't less prayerful. She was not less intentional. she wasn't exhausted anymore. And that's important. Support does not mean surrender. I want to normalize something for you. If you tried AI and you felt unsure, or you've avoided AI and you feel left behind, or you've gone back and forth, using it, not using it, using it, not deleting it, downloading it, okay, felt both curiosity and caution. That doesn't mean that you're confused, but it does mean that you're learning to hold something wisely. And wisdom often moves slower than the trend, so that's fine. I want you to hear this clearly. You're not required to use AI in every area of your life and business, but you are allowed to say, here, I'm going to use it, yes. There, not so much. Here, I'll never use it, okay? Boundaries are not fear, they are maturity. So if you want AI to support you without replacing you, if you want tools without pressure, if you want the clarity without the compromise, just type UFT Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership in the chat, and I will get to you. Okay. So you using AI with integrity doesn't look dramatic. It looks like thinking before you putting in a prompt, praying before you're publishing something, editing something until it sounds like you, pausing when you feel, hey, the shalom piece is leaving, choosing alignment over speed. And when you do that consistently, the fear fades. You know, I always tell my clients, your people will come for the oil. They're not coming for you or your message for that matter. They're coming for the oil. And the oil comes from consecration. The oil comes from spending time with the Holy Spirit. Then people are magnetically attracted to your message. Okay. So what I want you to walk away with from this session is simple. You are not behind. You're not naive, and you're not required to sacrifice spiritual authority to grow. There is a way to integrate AI with peace. And I want to show you what your next step can look like without pressure. I want to close this in a way that feels calm and grounded because this conversation was never meant to create pressure for you, but I want to restore your authority. So if something in you relaxes tonight, if you feel relief when we talk about authorship and discernment, if the fear around AI getting, getting AI wrong softened a little for you today, that matters. And that is your spirit responding to God's order. Because fear leaves when things are put back in the rightful place. And I want to say this clearly before I invite you anywhere. You don't need to use AI everywhere. You don't need to change everything. You don't need to adopt tools quickly. And you don't need to keep up with everybody else. You're not late, and you're not missing God. The next step here isn't action. It is actually clarity. Right. So that is why I created a document and it's called the AI Integrity Audit. So this is a private reflective diagnostic tool designed specifically for faith-driven women. And it helps you clearly to see where AI can safely support you, where it should never lead you, how to protect your voice, how to set boundaries with peace, and how to steward technology without compromising your integrity. This isn't about learning prompts, but it is about restoring authorship and authority. So if you want calm, grounded clarity around your using AI without fear or pressure, you can just drop the word audit in the chat and I will send it to you in the DMs. Okay. So here's what often happens when women complete the audit. So just drop the word audit below and I will get that to you. Here's what often happens when after women complete the audit. And if you listen to this on YouTube, because I will upload on YouTube, you can just send an email to hello@janadetoit.com, JANADUTOIT.com. Hello, HELLO @janadetoit.com, and just say, hey, Jana, I would love the AI integrity audit that you spoke about in the live or on the YouTube video. And I will reply and send that to you. Okay. So, all right, so that's exactly what the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership is always about. It is not about trends, it is about speed. So this is a spirit-led ecosystem where identity comes before execution, our discernment shapes our systems, and AI is used as support, never as an authority. And this is where growth happens with peace. So where women learn how to walk out what what we talked about today, not just understanding it. So if after completing the audit, you feel a nudge, or even after listening to this, you feel a nudge to walk this journey with support, you are invited. There's no urgency, no pressure. It's just alignment. So the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe is a monthly membership. It is $47 a month. You can cancel anytime. We do two things in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership. We have 2 live meetings, Zoom group coaching calls a week. The one is on personal development. The other one is on content creation. Okay, so we do that inside there, and all of these audits that I do in this Unstoppable Faithpreneur Weekly is available in there. So if you want more details about the tribe, just drop UFT tribe or UFT tribe in the chat. So yeah, I want to leave you with this. God is not threatened by technology, but he is very clear about order. So you didn't lose your spiritual authority by using tools. You lose it when you surrender authorship. And tonight or today, depending on where in the world you are, you reclaim that. So thank you for showing up with discernment. Thank you for honoring integrity, and thank you for leading with wisdom. All right, my friends. I hope you have a fabulous day wherever you are, and that this has helped you. Let me know in the comments below if this has blessed you. I just want to find where my Zoom is, and then I'm going to say goodbye. All right, bye.